EWF. The mere mention of those three letters, Elite Wrestling Federation, that phrase, I mean, wearing this shirt, I have not worn this shirt in a few years. I used to have a special edition shirt for the boys of EWF, but for those that have seen it on Facebook, you saw what the fans got, and I like this shirt. It has special meaning. That time period in my career is just truly a special time for me, and it taught me a lot as we went on through the EWF journey. But it would mark the first time in my wrestling career that I actually took a booking outside of what CTPW had suggested to me, or something they had gotten for me. Even LSWA, I had somehow, through meeting people associated with CTPW, got that booking. But then I met Hot Stuff Hernandez at that show, at one of those LSWA shows, and he really liked me and Devastator and Psycho Simpson. He was a big fan of ours. Dug us. He dug the Psycho Simpson. Yeah, man, thought Devastator was a good big hand to have, a good big guy, and probably just thought DeMarco's a good guy to have. Hopefully, he saw something in me, and we got a call from the powers that be, and I got to face Psycho Simpson at the very first EWF show that I was part of, which was at Katy, Texas, in this bar. And I was really honored to get to be in the ring with Psycho. I had really not been in a one-on-one matchup with him, and I had immense respect for him. We trained together, but to have a one-on-one match and it be your debut at a show with a company, and you're really trying to showcase and at the same time show some entertainment and whatnot, and what better guy to be in the ring with. I mean, I was at ease. But what really stood out to me about EWF, especially that first show, was getting paid as soon as you arrived to the building. It was something so unique about that, and that was not something I really ran into. I mean, you were lucky if you got it right after the show. You could be lucky. I mean, later on I'd get it at intermission, which I thought was awesome. But never really, as soon as I got to the building, I mean, we got to the building probably about 4 o'clock that day, and we were paid. And I remember Hot Stuff saying, "Don't worry about the money is handled." And it put your mind at ease, and at the same time it made you want to step up your game because you wanted to be a part of this, because it really seemed like they had their stuff together. I mean, from an outsider looking in, it looked like, I listened to Hot Stuff. I thought, he knew what he was doing, and I respected him, his ability, what he could do. I mean, a guy that big and that agile, and same time that, had that aura about him. And, there was a part of me that was like, man, if I could ever become like that, to have an aura about you. But it was also an opportunity for me to, at that time, rolling with Devastator, rolling with Psycho Simpson, getting on these road trips and getting to share it. We were built in like a brotherhood of sorts, and like being the Three Amigos and whatnot. And I really look back at that time and like, wow, man, it was just awesome. We were just enjoying it and wanting to be a part of it, and that's how it felt early on. I really wanted to showcase. I wanted to impress. More importantly, I wanted to be a big deal on this EWF. I wanted to take center stage, because if it was going to be the big promotion, I wanted to be the big dog in that promotion, the most important part of that show, or at least the favorite part of that show. And that's what I aspired to do every time. I also wanted to gain the respect of those in the locker room. I wanted to prove I was a tough guy. I wanted to prove that I could roll with the punches, and I was there to work. That's what I did. My second match, I got to team up with Chaz Taylor. I had seen Chaz, I think the last time I'd seen him prior to that was at a TWA show, a few TWA shows he had done, Shawn Michaels promotion, and knew about his times. He'd had some history at a rep. So I felt it was pretty honorable to be in the ring with him. And then we got to face, so we're tag partners. So I figure I'm going to take the beating. I'm the new kid on the block. We get to face Black Attack. Black Attack was a team that was known for just putting guys out. I mean, knocking you out. Whether it was a clothesline from Mac Daddy or a powerbomb from Al Jackson, I mean, you were doomed. And I remember taking a couple of each and getting up when they wanted me up, and started getting the Steve chant, which was pretty awesome. Made Chaz look like a hero, and everybody was happy with it. More importantly, I got the respect of my peers, got the respect of those veterans, including Chaz and Black Attack, and telling me I'm a warrior and whatnot for taking the beating, and I was okay with it. And I mean, again, getting paid as soon as you show up, it was nice. And then we made it to the Sam Houston racetrack in Houston. Now, mind you, this show was a paid show. The building took care of it. I didn't know all about the finances of it, but I knew it was taken care of. I knew that our money was guaranteed. You had no concerns. None. That was, wow. All right. Cool with that. Not that I'd been really steered wrong. I mean, I'd always gotten paid, and I got paid decently, but this was a place that I got paid well, and I got paid fairly, and I got paid early, and that was great. And getting to come to Houston, but Sam Houston Racetrack. First show there had Hot Stuff Hernandez versus Terry Funk. You got to share a locker room with Terry Funk. How many people could really say that and then proceed to watch him and Hernandez go to war with steel chairs and whatnot? I mean, just watching this man, this legend, this myth, just take a beating and keep going. And I mean, I got to team up with Fast Eddie. We got to take on our boys Instant Heat and Devastator and Hugh Rogue and the Vagos. Vagos who came to the arena in their gear, not so much their gear, they had street clothes, that's what they wore. I'm not one to judge them, but they would do a little head roll, a little shoulder shrug, and they were ready to go. They warming up, that's all they needed. And they were, some terrific high flyers. You got to share a locker room with Rey Mysterio, with Conan. I mean, man, whoa. Eddie Guerrero. Got to hang out with Eddie Guerrero after a show, actually. He was sober, which was hard because one of our sponsors was Glamour Girls, which anyone who's been in Glamour Girls, I not say more, but a great place because they were sponsored us, so we were able to enjoy it, feeling like we were balling, and that was part of the fun, part of the mystique, and I was making headway with that roster. I mean, I faced Christopher Nowinski and Psycho Simpson in a triple threat. I want to say it was my first triple threat. I'm facing Christopher Nowinski, Chris Harvard, guy I'd seen on Tough Enough. Now I'm getting to wrestle this guy and Psycho Simpson, and this place is packed. The place that they would have the shows at the Sam Houston Racetrack were packed. I'll get back to Eddie in a second. Actually, let me go along with it. So, again, we got to hang out, and he faced Mike Thunder, who I would later on team up with at least one time against Instant Heat, which I'll talk about here in a bit. But I saw Mike Thunder take on Eddie Guerrero, and I remember there being some miscommunication, and Eddie Guerrero, I think he got stiffed in the face, in the eye, and he rolled out. Looked at the promoter, looked at the fans, looked at Mike Thunder, looked at the promoter, looked at the fans, looked at Mike Thunder, and he went, okay. And then he taught Mike Thunder a wrestling lesson. It was a sight to behold. And then he went in the back, and he was talking about, some people were asking about his match, and he was like, well, Mike Thunder, not bad, not bad. He goes, man, I wrestled this guy a couple months back. He goes, this guy in a mask, wore leather pants. There was this guy, Papa Don, he was teaming with, and they teamed against me and my brother, Chavo, and he goes, that mask guy, man, that guy was something. That guy really had it. And it was Russell Simpson he was talking about. And the funny thing is, Russell was in the room, and Eddie was not aware that it was the same guy he was talking about, because Russell could do that. Chameleon. Just so talented, man. But yeah, I got to face Christopher Nowinski. Got to go over on Christopher Nowinski. Man, my stock was rising. Then I got to face Vampiro one-on-one, and I got to beat him too. I got to share the locker rooms with Jerry the King Lawler. It's funny, his talk with Chaz Taylor. Yeah, just leave that one alone. Got to face Instant Heat with Mike Thunder. That was something. Because those guys were so immensely talented, and we were all friends at that point. Me and BJ and Justin, man, we were tight with Psycho and Hernandez, and by that point, I'm starting to make waves at other companies, starting to get my name out there, starting to get noticed by NWA Southwest, starting to get noticed by PCW, and it's like, wow, it's something. I went over on Vampiro, and now I'm in a main event NWA Southwest, but that's for another time. But it was great facing BJ and Justin, and facing them there, and Jerry the King Lawler getting to watch. But I really enjoyed sharing the locker room with like Lance Hoyt and Michael Faith and Hot Stuff and Psycho and Devastator and Hugh Rogue and Fast Eddie and Nowinski and Vampiro and Sabu. I got to team up with Lance Cade at a car show. We took on Chaz Taylor and Kevin Northcutt. And again, because I'm the new kid on the block, I got to take the beating. But Lance came in and helped me out. I got to see that same Russell Simpson take on Sabu, and even though he didn't really know much about Sabu, he still had a 5-star match. He had a match that Sabu enjoyed so much that even though it was outdoors and they were going to give them the sun's coming down, they wrestled till it got dark. He just had that much fun wrestling Russell Simpson. I don't blame him. I don't blame him. But, all good things. Well, before that, I got to face Mike Fox a couple of times during that tenure. I remember one match I got chopped by Tugboat Taylor. He happened to be in attendance. But I got to face Mike Fox on a couple of occasions. In fact, my last EWF show, I faced Mike Fox. Mike Fox at the time was PCW champion, and at the time I was the NWA Southwest champion. We were both champions. We're in Odessa, Texas. And mind you, we'd been going pretty strong for about 6-7 months. I mean, EWF was making waves, guys were getting work, guys were getting more work, names were coming in. We went to Odessa, Texas. I mean, based on who we were going to bring in, Overboys, Paul London, AJ Styles, a few others, this was going to guarantee to be a pretty big show. And on that show, it was going to be the PCW heavyweight champion against the NWA Southwest Texas heavyweight champion. Two champions, rival promotions. And I wasn't aware of what rivalry there was. I kind of kept my head down to that. I was just wanting to wrestle. I just wanted to entertain. I just wanted to hang out with my boys. I really wasn't caring about territory. I didn't know anything about what marked the territory. We weren't running the same days. PCW was running one, we were running the other. We were running on Friday, they were running on Saturday. We were running two different parts of the Metroplex area, but somehow, some way, this was an issue. We were in Odessa, Texas, nowhere near where we were, but there was talk of there could be an issue. The NWA Southwest Brass might not like the fact of me laying down, and PCW didn't want Mike Fox to lay down, and that was the first time I really got firsthand what politics, what rivalries, what can happen. We came up with something pretty good, because in the end, I really just wanted to face Mike Fox. We'll have plenty of time to talk about Mike Fox, but at that time, that was the guy that I looked at was like, okay, I've got to be at this guy's level, even then. And when we faced each other, it was, I really had a good time facing him. But shortly thereafter, there was kind of some things said, and there was some concerns over the Odessa incident, and the Odessa incident was also compounded by the fact that we didn't draw a good house, in part because there was a Pat Green concert like 10 miles away from us. Who knew? But it is what it is. I don't regret my time at EWF. I don't regret any decision I made. I had a blast being a part of that roster. I had a blast being a part of that time. That was a launching pad for me. I made some very good friends that have lasted to this day. I made my mark in that company. I was part of it from the beginning till near the end. And again, I wear the shirt, and it brings me back to those traveling from Austin to Houston, and going to Glamour Girls after the show, and the road trips, and getting to hang with a lot of those guys. And again, working my way through the indies. But really, like I said, by the time I got out of there, my career was on an upswing, and things were where they needed to be, at least in the wrestling sense. So, on the next video, I mentioned Lance Hoyt earlier, sharing a locker room with him. But for the first couple of years of my career, I had never faced him. And that would change one fateful day in Austin, Texas. So I'm going to talk about my time facing Lance Hoyt. And I will also show some footage of said match, so be on the lookout for that. This will probably be one of the last videos where I don't have some other video or some other wrestling footage, so you guys can kind of see where I'm at that point in my wrestling career. So yeah, I hope everyone enjoyed this. If you happen to be out and about this Saturday, and you happen to live like in the Humble area or near it, and you want to go, hey, get a tasty beverage or really good meal, come to Coach's Sports Bar. And if you do show up there, you'll be pleasantly surprised to know that there's going to be a Humble street fight brought to you by Texas All-Star Wrestling. And not only do you have the street fight, but you got yours truly defending his Texas All-Star Wrestling heavyweight title against Ruthless Ryan Davidson. So if you're out in the area, just come and check it out. I appreciate everyone's feedback and everyone's views and all that. If you have any comments, questions, concerns, or anything else, feel free to drop me a line any which way you can. There are plenty of ways. But until the next time, stay cool, stay sexy, stay classy. Have you bought your DeMarco Out t-shirt yet? No? Well, look on my website, because which is Facebook. Just look on that and look up what dates I'll be performing, where you can gladly and proudly DeMarco out. And hey, who knows, if you see a t-shirt, DeMarco out t-shirt, feel free to buy one. They're only $10. Until next time.